right. Episode 7, the Restoration Club podcast. Who'd have thought we're at episode 7, Danny?
Look at
Here we are.
us. Look at us.
Look at us. Just look at us. I feel like we need some hot ones right here and make it happen. Get some wings and sauces, and we can just do this right.
There we go. We'll switch it up at some point.
Yeah, but what a journey so far, right? 6 episodes of just meeting some fantastic stories and hearing people what they're up to, how they got here with the game itself, and also where they're just headed in their lives. It's great to see all the different things from wealth advisors to NASA engineers and designers and all sorts of people that are just connected to this thing. It's really powerful to see how this game gets to move because of the people involved with it. So I couldn't be more excited for what we have coming up,
No, you're exactly right.
Last night, what? Like we had our first, we'll call it the inaugural. I really can't stand when people say the first annual. It's always it drives me crazy. So the inaugural Charlotte Restoration Club meetup last night. So we had our first one at Docks Hill down there at the first tee in, I guess that'd be considered Pineville, South Charlotte area, formerly known as the Cadillac Ranch. It was just an old, everybody tells a story of just an old grass field, like shack and membership club of hitting balls, kind of wild. And then first tee got hold of it and they've made it into an amazing thing with Docks Hill. So what was your thought of seeing the hill last night?
You know, it's funny. I feel like I've interacted with people so much now that knew what it was. So I don't have the same memories of how it's been transformed. But if anything, man, I just appreciate what they've done with it. I think to your point, the first tee of Greater Charlotte, the whole region, is kind of stepping up their game and really upping facilities from obviously kids up to our age. So it's fun to see what they've been doing so people can appreciate it a bit more. Like you said, we were on Docks Hill, the I don't want to say massive. It was a good size putting green for sure. Yeah. But it's just a fun venue, fun atmosphere. King Collins designed it, so you kind of got the accolade attached to it as well to bring some notoriety. But man, it was just about having a good time. Like you said, it was a lot of fun to get a few guys out there, guys that have kind of raised their hand locally to say, hey, what is this? Let me see how I can jump in and really just start forming that community. I know that's something we talk about a lot.
You nailed it, Danny, like in the sense of even starting from the beginning of that, like what Daniel Fogarty and the crew over there at First Tee are building, not only there, but over there at Sifford as well. Dr. Charles Sifford's course and facility over at Revolution Park is amazing. And I know we have a broader reach than just Charlotte, but what's happening here in Charlotte is, I'm sure, just a microcosm of what's happening around the country. So find those local municipals, find those local organizations that are doing great stuff with the work. And First Tee of Greater Charlotte is amazing at what they do. And Daniel's leadership and Mark Lathan and Ryan Hofer, all those guys over there are just doing really, really cool stuff. And so it's been great to link up with them. And like you said, Docks Hill is like this. We've done Thistledew, which was a massive thing. It was huge. And this was way tougher. Thistledew, like cups on the side of the hills. And so any putt you'd ever have in your life to be challenged by, it was on this hill. And so Docks Hill was just such a great experience to get guys out there last night. And how about the CAA All-Stars coming out from Elon and UNC Wilmington coming out there, and Tom, and I guess we'll call him Chuck now. We're out there. So if you guys are out there listening, great to meet you guys last night. But really an eclectic group. Everybody from, electrical engineers to people in the nonprofit space, banking, finance, all this cool stuff that's happening. So couldn't be more excited about our first one last night and all the good stuff that we had happening.
No, that's a really good time. Yeah, and to your point, it's always great to meet guys that you don't know yet, have them come out. And to that point, I mean, we battled some weather. It was tough to get out there and really do everything we wanted to do on the course. But honestly, it kind of fit perfectly because it almost felt like the game became the backdrop to guys just getting together, getting to know each other, their entry into the game, where they are with their faith and how they integrate into what we're trying to do. And so I just love the fact that guys showed up and what we're doing was resonating with them. And as you said, everybody listening right now, don't be fooled. It's not a bunch of guys that are just using the game recreationally. There's some sticks getting involved. So I might have to fine tune the game a whole lot more if we're going to have guys like that coming out.
Yeah. What was Tom's story? He was at a bachelor weekend and he hadn't played maybe twice in a year or something like that, and went out and fired a 66. And it's like casual. And then, but in fairness, now he would say this too, because he's the one who told us. He then fired an 85 after that. But I'm sitting there going, I'd love an 85. bring it on. I'll take it. But like you said, just an amazing group of people. And I love the fact that, I mean, first tee was cool that not only did we have Docks Hill, but when that lightning came and we got to get under the awning, we went inside the facility and got to use the indoor putting green. So they afforded us that opportunity too. So I don't know. It was such a blast. I mean, more importantly than even just the fun golf facility and all that was new faces, new blood, so to speak, of people who are finding out about Restoration Club. Some, this is their first experience with us, and they are now following us on the Instagram and following us in our Discord channels and checking out our YouTube and our podcast. So it's really exciting to see the movement happening of RC across the space.
No, you're exactly right. It's fun to see new names get involved. It just gives us that reminder that it is impacting people, and they, are coming alongside us and feel like we're really doing something here, and the Lord is moving. And so it's just fun to see guys like that come out. And at the same time, with new people, it gives us an opportunity just to kind of refresh and remember the story and kind of share how this all came about, which is always fun just to continue that story and tell new people.
I think that's exactly right, Danny. The idea that how people found out about this thing, but also the formation of it. We recounted the story a ton of times with how you, Dave, and Jeff first met, and then how I came into the mix, and the other people who've been on the podcast have come into the mix. And it's really great that someday probably someone gets to tell the story. Oh, I came into the Restoration Club world by showing up at Docks Hill or coming to whatever meetup, whether it's in Northern California or whether it's in Wilmington or whether it's in Texas. They just came together and found out about this thing and really started to cultivate and really manage and nurture really positive relationships in their life, because that's what this is about. This is bigger, way bigger than just hitting a golf ball. That's a fun part. We enjoy that. It brings us together in the space, but it really is something about that togetherness, that can really make this thing powerful. Having a bunch of guys on a putting green was cool, and seeing them and they're having just a casual fun time. Guys dropping 30-foot breaking putts, and those guys are you, Danny. That's a nice way to start us off with a hole in one to start the round. That was awesome. But no shade on that. You were great.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, just having venues like that. It's funny because I know we were having the conversation last night too. And anybody listening would love for you to hit us up if there are more options around the country when it comes to short courses or other venues or other places to meet up. I feel like growing up, it was 18 holes or nothing, right? It's like, if I'm going to play,
Yeah.
I'm going to play. I'm going to go shoot my lowest round ever. And that was the mentality every time. And now you see guys in our season of life where it's like, hey, I love the game, would love to play the game. It's hard to get out there. I know we talk about it all the time. I mean, I think there is a gravitational pull to, how do I go play 9? Is there a 12-hole course?
Yeah.
How do we build something like that? Is there a thistle do? Is there a putting green where the game kind of becomes the backdrop to, don't get me wrong, you talk about dropping a putt on the first hole, the competitive juices start flowing. You want to get out there and take some swings. But yeah, it's just about being out there and in any type of venue tied to the game. And then it becomes about the relationships and the guys that are showing up. And you hit on it too. It's amazing to see. If you guys aren't on the Discord channel, we remind you every pod, jump on there, check out who's in there. All these chapters popping up all over the place to not only see guys talking about meeting up. I know we got a couple guys in Northern California getting ready to play Pasta Tiempo in the next week or so.
Nice. I mean, just something
but exactly, to see it lived out, right? To see it digitally, people talking about meeting up and hey, I'm here and we can do something in my city. For us to do that here in Charlotte, and other guys just talking about intentionally meeting up. Like we say, that's what it's all about. So it's so fun to see guys kind of taking ownership and running with it.
Yeah, the something that was piqued my interest last night was when Bill was talking, and he was just talking about Sweetens Cove, right? And we all love that place. It's such an amazing venue, but having something that a little closer too, like having that style of thing that you can just go out and
Yep.
reverse routing and all these different things that can be really great and cool. Something that the area, maybe wherever anyone's from, has never seen before, or have an accessible 9-hole course, or a buddy was talking about having just, a 3 holes and a snowballs, those little shaved ice places, and then you just go play 3 holes together. It's just an opportunity to use space in a really impactful way. That could be, in fact, in my neighborhood, it's kind of funny. We have a neighbor who lives about 2 streets over, and big open field in his backyard, but it's the HOA's field. You know what I mean? But we've thrown 3 flags down there, and we have off of his right next to his pool. We have a couple paths to hit off of and drop 80, 90, and 110-yard shots down there and see if we can win this little par 3 back there. But that's the fun stuff, right? Like, yeah, it'd be great to have that really soft grass and walking on the zoysia and making all this fun stuff happen. But maybe it's sometimes just connecting over the whatever space that you can get into, as we look for the future, as we're trying to move toward having our own golf property, which would be amazing. As we move towards that lens, it's also about being where we are right now. And that transcends golf, right? Like if it's in our jobs and we're like, oh, I'm just looking to the next job. Well, I feel like we're called to be exactly who we're supposed to be in that job in the moment. And
Yep.
if it's I'm a parent, I'm in a toddler season right now, right? So I'm just like, oh, I need these boys to be on their own so I can actually get some sleep. But no, like maybe I need to be realizing in this season they need all of my energy. They need all of me and their father right now as much as they can have. Yeah, it's gonna wear me out. Yeah, I'm a little older in the season, a little salt and pepper in the beard. But you know what? I've got some experience and some things for them. And that's the reason the Lord gave them to me, because I get the
Yep.
chance to invest in them. So that's the cool stuff about where we are right now with not only golf, but just life and what we can be.
Yep. Yep. No, you're exactly right. It immediately makes me think of I'm thankful that mercies are new every morning,
Yeah.
not only sometimes. And I told a friend this recently too. I was just reminded that the manna sent from heaven is only good for a day. You got to reload the next day. And so I think it's just continues to talk about us tapping into that every
Yeah.
day. But yeah, just enjoyed last night getting together with guys. And I know we talk about this too. There are a lot of guys, and I appreciate this, that love the game for the solitude of just getting out there, enjoying it by
Mhm.
yourself, get a good walk in. Um, but I think it's meant to be played together. It's meant to be
Mhm.
communal. It's meant to be based on relationship, and that's what we talk about, being intentional, using the game for that. The fact that guys we had never even met before signed up to show up last night and said, I don't know exactly what this is. Sounds like it's where I need to be. And if the game's going to do that, as we know, with guys who are willing to say, hey, I'll show up at the course. I don't know all about this just yet. Sounds like something I need to get involved in. I would have gone to the range either way. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Then we
Right.
want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
that
I know in the golf,
doesn't, I'm sorry. I was just
you're
thinking
good.
like, as we're in this, what's happening right now over the next few weeks, right? We've got the Ryder Cup coming up, and you mentioned this like togetherness factor. And I love the majors. They're awesome. They're firing it on Sunday. It's such an amazing event. Everything's happening. The courses are trying to wreck golfers, that kind of stuff. But the Ryder Cup, I feel like players would rather play together in that team format sometimes and even just be in a major. Like their life goal mission is to play in the Ryder Cup team, to play in the Walker Cup, to play in these like team events that can make things go, which speaks to the power of being together. Because when you're that pair that's matched up against that other pair, there's something really powerful about how you push each other, how you spur each other on, and how you really move to get the best out of each other. And it's kind of, I feel like that's what we're trying to build here, right? The whole purpose of what we're doing.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So many guys that you see when they're asked, "Oh, if you could win a major or be in the Ryder Cup," it's shocking, but it's real. So many guys
Yeah.
have said, "Man, I've got it pegged on the board. I want to be a part of a team, and I want to be a part of the Ryder Cup and represent the country, and just be a part of that room of guys together, shoulder to shoulder, going out there." So yeah, in my mentality, you're exactly right. There's nothing better than getting out there with a group of guys and kind of digging in together.
And well, and the proof is in the pudding, because the number of people who are disappointed that they didn't get picked, right? Even as deserving as people were getting on the team or not, all the debate you can have about these things. But when people are frustrated by not making it, it's not just because I only want to represent my country slash continent. It's more about I I I want to be around the team.
Yeah.
And as much as I do love Team USA, there's no doubt about that. I'm cheering on the red, white, and blue. And in the same way, Europe has something special going on in how they team up. You know what I mean? They are very focused on a continual team process. And I think that's also how indicative of what the USA has going on. Like, you got Scotty leading the crew, and all these guys kind of come together, and even the vets are going to be a part of it as JT's in that mix doing stuff, kind of helping us be that rally person that makes those things happen, and match play and all those different pieces that'll fall into the course, because we're going to need it, right? USA is going to need it because it's long, it's going to be skinny, the rough's going to be terrible, and so we've got to hit them long and straight. And if not, then it's going to be a failure. But that's where you rely on the team aspect, and you guys all rally together every night. You process, you work, you grind, and you make that thing happen, and you bring it back. You bring that cup back to the United States. I mean, we haven't won in Europe in a long time. I don't know, 30 some years it's been, but we need this. You know what I mean? And at first I was thinking Europe's got us. Oh no, this is gonna be the hardest year. But I'm like looking at those top 10. It's like split, like 5 and 5. We've got 5 of the top 10. They've got 5 of the top 10. It's just about what we do together. And so as those guys get in there will be documentaries made about that week, and what from that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that they play. It'll be made from what's going to come up, because this is some of the best golf and golfers that has ever been played. And as an Italian myself, them playing in Rome is really powerful for me. I'm like, I kind of want to get there, but didn't get that one approved in the family budget. You know what I mean? So that's just it.
No, that's still out there for me too. I've been to a President's Cup, I've been to some majors, but the Ryder Cup is still out there. I got to get there at some point for sure. But no, you hit the nail on the head. I think we've seen the quote unquote all-star model in the past of we're just going to put the guys that are firing in there, and if they're not communal or they don't have that type of camaraderie, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, completely different sport, but there was a reason there was a redeem team. We know how that went down back in 2004 on the basketball side. So
That's right.
You need that leadership. You need those guys that are bought in. You need that team mentality. So you're exactly right. It feels like whether it's from the U.S. side or the European side, they've got that team mindset, which also brings a little fieriness usually to the table too. So it's going to be fun to see.
My favorite, golf is such a reserved, give up the clap, and it's changed a little bit over the years, but like Ryder Cup stuff is like fist pumps, and everybody's like, yeah, and they're looking at the crowd and they're pointing, and it's like, I wouldn't be mad if a European player pointed at me and said, I got you. It wouldn't bother me. It'd be like, all right, let's get the next one. That kind of thing. So it's like you said, it's fiery, man. It's really in, and I'm excited to see how these teams play out, and now I say that, but do I really want to get up at 3 a.m. on Friday and watch the first tee? I don't know. But I want to see that Viking clap that they do. That's like goosebumps on the first tee every time. And I'm like, oh, maybe we will want to check that out. I might do a 3 a.m. wake up just for that one, but go right back to bed.
No doubt. If we need to hold each other accountable on that one, I'm down for sure.
At least one day. I don't know if I can do all 3 days, but I can at least get one in there. So that's awesome.
No, you're exactly right. It's so funny. You see guys on the pro level, they're usually laser focused, whether it's pre-round or post-round, maybe engage the fans, but otherwise there's not too much interaction. But that type of setting, man, they've got the fist pumping, they've got the arms flying, getting people up and getting excited. It's a different atmosphere for sure. So yeah, I'm excited to see what unfolds.
How do you think then, I don't want to say that we are the Ryder Cup by any means in terms of Restoration Club, but the fact is that we're so focused on that team mentality, meaning we're together. We want to work together. We want to, we have some stuff in the works of, we're trying to put a Builders Cup to it together and trying to get together and play again in Pinehurst, or looking at future events or merchandise and all that kind of stuff, because you and I designing t-shirts is not just about, hey, what kind of swaggy stuff we can wear, but I feel like it's about us creating this thing that when someone sees the RC logo, they're like, oh, I got that logo too. It's like, and then I grew up in the 90s heavily, and if you had that Ralph Lauren polo on your chest, I felt like I connected with you, that kind of, I'm like, oh, you got it, I got it, cool, that's what it is. But that's the same thing with RC. It's like, I feel like we're trying to build that thing that says we're together. I say all that just to understand the idea of, as we're going forward in this thing, as we're going forward in the connections, as we're going forward in meetups, events, merch, podcasts, media options, all these different things that we're going to get into, because we are growing at a good rate and connecting people into this. We're doing this whole thing together. It's not just one guy doing all of it. It's us sharing the load together. And when people we find out have skills and gifts, we ask them to use them in the space. And because we wouldn't want anybody to waste their gifts. Like, jump in here. Let's do something powerful, because when we're talking about true restoration can be had through the power of Jesus is an immensely powerful thing. And we get to do that through golf. Like win, 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 win. Like, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yep. Yep. Now, I love that you said together, and there's a few things that you said within that that I think are so true. Is that we want people to be who they were made to be. I think there's going to be certain points in time where we may just need help, and to keep this thing moving, have guys hold up their hands to say, "Hey, I'm willing to help out wherever," and we have, which has been amazing. But we
Yeah.
really want to put people in positions, and as you said, it's not just about product or events or whatever it might be. It's obviously at the end of the day the people behind it and
Yeah.
them really tapping into their giftings and what they were made to do. So when we talk about the people that we're seeing get involved, that's honestly one thing that gets me the most excited is seeing guys operate in what they're best at. And we know everybody can't be everything. And so when we talk about, those short courses and that craze, I know we've got a few guys on here that are in the architectural space. So, hey, if anybody's out there, you want to design a course for us, please go ahead. We can build it together, like we said.
That's right.
But yeah, to see guys just kind of step into, hey, I know I can fill in here. I know I can bring something to the table. That's where it feels like, you may hear a core 4 or 5 voices here and there, but we want to feel like we're kind of moving as a unit and everybody's kind of filling in where they feel like they can make the biggest impact and feel like they're being reciprocated too. They're feeling it from our side, and it all feels like we're kind of doing it together. So you're exactly right. I would say um, having all of these different personalities and all of these different skill sets tapped in through saying, I love golf. I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of what you guys are doing. Is really kind of creating that momentum of where we're at now and where we want to go next.
Well, that's the power of the club, right? The club is when you belong to a club, it's an exclusive feel, even though we're very inclusive and want people to be a part of it. But you're a part of a club and you're in it because you're with other people. No one wants to join a club to be by themselves. Like that's kind of wild. Or if they do, that's really unique in that sense. But we're creating a space that allows people to connect on more than just a round of golf, right? Our goal is after an event or after a round or after a meetup that we would connect even deeper, that discipleship would occur, that connections would occur, that these groups would break out, that if guys I met last night need prayer, boom, they'll hit us up and say, hey, can you pray about this? And the same for me. I'm reaching out to them. Hey, can we link up together? Because I could really use a group of men fighting in this battle with me. I don't want to lose the battle. I'm a fighter. I'm resilient, but I think the thing I've learned the most over my 49 years is that I can't do it alone. First, it starts by a reliance on God. That's number one. And number two, He has created us to be in community. And so, us being created to be that way says that we've got to do this thing together. And those that love to fight, and I'm all for introverts, I'm all for an extrovert, but I'm about the idea that no matter what, we all fit this thing together. It's a huge puzzle, and everybody brings their piece to it that eventually connects and gets together in the whole thing. So I don't know. That's you and I have talked over the past couple of days, like about the idea that people are still connecting from our first video that we did a year and a half ago, like thinking that, and for me, that was my segue, even learning about Restoration Club, seeing this video, capturing my attention. But here we are in 2023 and people are still hitting us up going, hey, I want to be a part of this just because I just saw this video. Because everybody's like, you got to be fresh. You got to make content now. You got to do and just get after it, right? But it's like our foundation is what laid it down there, that it was about this thing of hope, of restoration, and using the game of golf to do it. And that resonates heavily with people. And so it's still being found. And it's exciting to me to be a part of that type of thing.
No, that resonates with me a ton. And I think you hit on some things there too, that, our mentality is that, yes, we don't want to be shy about the fact that while we're building relationship with each other, the greatest relationship we can have is with our creator through Jesus Christ. And so we don't want people to not know that. We didn't want everybody to know that, but don't hear what we're not saying too. If you came here because you saw some guys enjoying the game together, and our hope and prayers that you encounter Jesus through it, but you're not at that spot right now, come on in. Like we'd love to have you. And so if you're hearing
Yeah.
this right now and you haven't explored that, you haven't even thought about that, but you're saying, hey, I see some guys that are intentional, wanting to get together, enjoy the game. we would love to have you involved.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think sometimes, right, people hear about people of faith and they make some presuppositions about them, especially if they're not coming from the faith themselves. If they don't know Jesus or they're not in a connected relationship with God, they're kind of like, oh, I don't want to be around some weirdos or stuff like that. I think if anybody were to come out to any of our RC events, they would find the most loving, caring community, down to earth people that are not proselytizing. We're not out there like bullhorning up. It's a great time because we've been created by our creator to connect with other people, and we do that in a way that just uses the game. And it's such a it's a disarming environment. You can just come exactly as you are. You can wear a pair of shorts, you can wear some khakis if you want, you can be in a t-shirt or a polo, it won't matter. And you can have any kind of background, because we've all got backgrounds, we've all got stories. And that's what this thing's all about, is how are those stories going to now impact the future? And that's really what we're trying to get across, of what we're pulling together here.
I think that's a good way to wrap it, my man.
Yeah.
Um, so with that being said, this is maybe a shorter, sweet one. Nice little
Yeah.
update. Wanted to get back on here, get something back in front of you guys. I'm sure we'll tap in some guests here shortly, bring you some more of those great stories we've been able to tell thus far. As we said, really excited to get a inaugural, as Ryan said, Charlotte event underway last night. Hope for more in the future. Hope you guys can put some together. Definitely jump into some of those Discord channels. Hey, if we need to fire up another one because we got guys in other cities that aren't represented there, we'd love to do so. More events coming your way. Ryan already hit on it. Some merch coming here shortly. Always check us out at restoration_club on Instagram, restorationclub.co. If you're not a member, if you don't have the merch, just want to get to know what's going on here, check out the website. We appreciate you guys. That's episode 7 for Restoration Club. Until next time, Ryan, keep swinging.
Keep swinging.